to deliver that value.
Okay.
And then at least make something out of it.
Give us an example of people that are well known, whether locally or globally, so that we can.
There are so many that are well known. I think the most famous one at the moment, Elon Musk. He just finds we are in a place where there's a lot of global warming and the climate is changing. So he builds a value to outdo what is the global warming, to go against global warming. So he comes up with a car, the name Tesla. He patents the rights and everything, and he introduces it to the world. So he has brought value. You see, has brought a new value, and then he has built a system now. Now, you can buy the patent right from Tesla, and I think even the period for the patent has already passed on, so I think it's available for everyone. So all of us now are benefiting from that value. He has now also, with his crazy good ideas, he has decided that we need to go and be touring Mars, taking crews to Mars. And he's building that value, and people are investing in it, and he's also making something out of it. So that kind of thinking is what you're talking about, being an entrepreneur.
I had thought an entrepreneur is a person who probably does not just do what every other person is doing.
Yes.
And has guts from here to Timbuktu.
Yes.
And is not afraid to innovate.
Yes.
Come up with things that have not existed in the market before.
Yes, that is true. That is why we are talking about creating value. A lot of entrepreneurship depends on creating. There is a bit of innovation. It can be innovation of a product. It can be innovation of a solution. It can be innovation of a strategy. But a lot of times it involves innovation, coming up with a new thing, although it might be somewhere else, but there's a unique way that it is being delivered in this unique place to solve a certain problem. That's what really separates an entrepreneur from a businessman, because a businessman doesn't need to think anything, just
doesn't need to even create.
Doesn't need to
all
create.
He does goods and services.
Find Fred, get the goods. Find Gabriel, supply the goods. That's it.
You need a shoe. This guy has feet like this giant guy didn't have a shoe.
Yes.
What's his name?
Goliath.
Yeah, the Goliath guy didn't have shoes.
Yes.
Goes to somebody, takes him to bat. So a business person is just feeling a need. Goods and
supplying,
services.
Supplying the needs.
But an entrepreneur,
but now an entrepreneur can create a fashion line for Goliaths. As someone who takes time to think, analyze, and just come up with solutions for this unique group of people. Yes, instead of just buying and selling to them. So it's a tailor-made solution.
When you look at our education system, excuse me, when you look at the education system, both primary, secondary, college, university, do you think it prepares us for entrepreneurship?
No. Actually, education system, the problem with our education system is this. It was brought to us by the people who colonized us.
Yes.
And their intention was to build employees, was to make employees for their factories, for their farms, for their plantations.
Yes.
So they were all focused about how they can create an employee out of you. So
meaning you become a good employee.
So you go into the system, then that is, I don't want to use the word brainwash you, but it's the closest word.
Yes.
But they recondition your mind to think like an employer, behave like, not an employee, behave like an employee, conduct yourself like an employee. And that's why when you go to class, you are operated by a bell. Ding, 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 ding. So at 8, you should be in. Kang, 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 the bell rings. At 9, kang, 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 you change the subject. At 10, kang, 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 you go for break. Kang, kang, kang. This is the factory mindset.
Yes.
That's how people operate in a factory. You work for a certain period, you change shifts, you take a break, you take lunch, you go back, you take shifts, and then you go home. It's a conditioning that has been happening. Now, our leadership has not been true and has not been genuine enough to look at the education system and say, this was a colonial system,
yes,
but now we are beyond colonialism. Now we need to sit down and come up with a syllabus that serves us as a people, that helps to take us forward. Look at countries like China. They've abandoned that system of education. They teach their children skills, coordination, behavior. Places like Japan, children do not have any examination until class 5. Because,
really?
Yes, because their intention is not to get the grades or compete. It's to build a human being, to build the whole person. So
you're taught skills, you're taught the
mannerism,
yes,
behavior,
the whys and the wherefores.
Yes, first, before you are now brought into skills. Because there's no point of teaching a skill to someone who hasn't become a whole person. Yeah, you are just creating a robot that can function in a certain way. So I feel like our education system really needs to be reviewed, like done an overhaul. You look at Africa. Africa has a lot of needs. Africa is one of the best markets in the world for everyone.
Yes.
We need schools, we need all constructions, we need food, we need everything. And look at us. We are here, all of us crying, we need a job.
Yes.
While in your village, people need shoes.
Instead of being conditioned to
look at the problems,
sort out the problem.
Yes, and become solutions. We have been conditioned to go and ask Fred, can I get a job? That's the conditioning that we have. So I feel like our education system has been the greatest disadvantage of us as a nation, as a continent.
What you say is very true, because I have a friend, he's in the coffee industry.
Yes.
And I was just having conversations with him. He came out of uni, went to Mombasa. I think he was employed earning around 80,000 shillings. I think at the port or something like that.
Yes.
Then the family had a big farm back home in the Rift Valley. One day, he was sent how much? From the coffee ya nyumbani.
Yes.
As family.
A share of the family.
A share. That was, he was fighting with his employer to get money.
Yes.
Then they send him money from Geshagi.
Yes.
You know, he looked, compared at the money he had received and what he was fighting with the employer, and wondered, am I mad?
Yes.
These guys have sent me this money as ati ni pesa kidogo ambayo ilitoka kwa kahawa.
Hiyo ni share yako tu.
It's more than what he earns.
Yes.
And so he told me that day is the day he quit his job.
His eyes open.
Yes. And he went back home,
yes,
to work on the coffee farm. The second harvest, he was making 800,000 shillings.
Yes.
By the second harvest.
Wow.
So he kept on looking. I was earning this amount.
Yes. Running away from 800 to go and earn 80.
And this is what I am earning now from the farm, from a resource that is already, it was there.
It was there, set up and all that. You see, that's the sad part of our reality. And I'm really sorry that we have to have these hard conversations at one point, because we must open our eyes. This is actually what happens. And please let us get back to topic after this. A lot of us are raised by Mama Mboga. Most of us by poor folks, people that are struggling. A blacksmith, mtu anachomelea chuma tu hapo kijijini. And that's all they know. Through that small business, through that small hustle at home, your mother educates the 5 of you.
Yes.
Takes you to college through loans and stuff and SACCO and all that. And after you've come from school, you have a bachelor's in business, BCom, a bachelor's in economics, a bachelor in mathematics or stuff. She is still in the village, now getting old. She is no longer able to operate the same kibanda. And you are in town, tammacking for 5, 10 years. And now she's lost her energy. She's not able to stay there. But the way you've been conditioned, you are so proud
You cannot go...
To go back to the village and apply the knowledge you have. You would rather ukae huku, mamako akusaidie na rent. Mamako akutumie food from the village. You see how bad that conditioning is? While in reality, you should go to school and then come back, because this business is already working.
Yes.
It's already producing money.
It's the one that is taking you through school.
It's a foolproof concept. Now you bring all the knowledge you have and expand the business. You and your sisters can now operate new branches. You can bring in technology. You can bring in a computer system. You can bring in all the ideas you've gotten. So, but instead, we are running away from the businesses, going into employment. And then the employment pays us peanuts, and we are frustrated for our lives. And then we try to push our kids to become doctors that are not needed even in the future.
Yeah.
You see, because of AI and all these things.
Yes.
And we just keep on going deep into a hole that we are not conscious of.
I remember when I was young, there was a song, and it was a great song.
Yes.
During that time. It was so many vijana kisha sijui mpate nini, ni degree ama nini. Mwisho wa kusoma utapata kazi nzuri sana.
Yes.
So what you're talking about is we
it's an ideology that was sold by the colonial masters
to develop people to work in his farm.
Yes, in his farm. And this is the challenge with this system. He would not, you see, for an entrepreneur, you have to be all-rounded.
Yes.
You have to start with knowing the business itself, knowing the product, knowing the staff, talking to the bank, managing the books. You know, you have to learn to sell. You have to deliver, do customer care. You have to be a whole person. Now, these gentlemen, because they didn't want us to know the whole process, even in their farm, alikuwa anataka kuajiri a manager. Then anataka kuajiri an accountant. Then anataka kuajiri all this. It's called specialization.
Yes.
But do you understand that an accountant without a farm, he cannot function on his own? Do you realize that?
Yes.
So he has been trained, but the training somehow has disabled them, because they can only function in Fred's farm.
Yes.
Or Gabriel's farm, or another man's farm. But on their own, what are they accounting for?
Because even the becomers.
Yes.
When you see somebody in the street tammacking, yet they have a becom, you wonder, okay, weren't you guys being taught how to
do it?
Yes.
The business that you're looking for to operate under, weren't you given the skills? So the system was conditioned such that it doesn't give you the whole package. Gives you a piece of the package.
That is beneficial to the colonizer.
So that the piece will be required somewhere on its own. And if you are left out, you cannot function on your own. So the colonial masters created a system where we depend on them. And we abandoned our system. Our African systems were good. We would raise cattle, we would do farming, we would do business, because we used to trade in communities and all that. So we abandoned that and came into this system. And since we got into the system, it has been unemployment, tammacking, depression, frustration, and everything.
So now how do we break off this and develop
and
a mind?
Engage now into.
Yes.
Now and that is what we are coming into now, entrepreneurship. Now I wanted to divert kidogo into the scriptures and show us that actually entrepreneurship is one of the systems that God has created as a way of wealth transfer.
Entrepreneurship is
a wealth transfer, divine wealth transfer system for us.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. If let's look at, I think it's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 4. Should be verse 1 to around verse 7. There's this gentleman who died, and I really hate him. This young man was Elisha's servant. He died. I know you know the story. He died. And the wife came to Elisha and told him that, you know my husband. was one of your servants. He was a good man, but he died. And now the debtors have come.
Yes.
And they want our sons to go and pay the debt. So the reason I hate him is because he was with Elisha, the man who was resurrecting others, the miracle-doing man, and he was his servant, and he died. And I also hate his wife because the wife did not go to ask that he should be resurrected to pay his debt. And the guy did not ask Elisha to help him out of the debt.
Yes.
So he might have died out of depression.
Yes.
Away from that, he's also a bad man because he used his children.
That was so wrong.
As security.
Yes.
That's so wicked. And he was a man of God. That's why I hate
it. It is like, which king is this who said, hey, at least that will not happen during my reign?
Yes.
A judgment that had been cast on him.
It was the husband to Jezebel. That was the guy. So this lady comes to the prophet and she tells him, you know, this guy, we have this debt. And you know what the prophet asked? What do you have in your house? But the Amplified and the Message Bible says, what do you have of sale value?
Of sale value?
In your house.
What do you have of sale value in your house?
In your house, yes. And this is what he did. He told, the lady said that she only had oil. Because oil then was quite something.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's when the prophet told her, go and borrow all the cans that you can from the villages and everywhere. Then go close yourself in the house. Start pouring that oil until you feel all that you need. Then come back. After they did that, she came back and reported to him. And this is what he told him. Now go and sell. Pay the debt, and whatever else you sell, live off that.
Yes.
So in short, he introduced her into entrepreneurship. Told her that this product that you have is
First
needed.
They created the product?
Yes, it's needed. It's needed. What is sale value?
Yes.
Sale value means, what do you have that has value to other people? Not just you, to other people. Something that other people need. That we can make something out of. And that is how they created a business out of that, and they survived through that. You also see Isaac.
Yes.
When it was a dry season, God told him, you are not going anywhere.
Don't go to Egypt.
Don't go to Egypt. I'll show you how you survive here.
Yes.
And the next thing he did, it was a dry season, but God gave him a concept. I suspect it was irrigation.
Yes.
Then, and I think agrarian revolution had not started.
Yes.
But the guy would do irrigation, and he had a plantation.
Yes.
And he harvested very well. And whatever he harvested is what he sold.
Yes.
And he drew all the wealth from the neighboring countries to himself. So the concept of entrepreneurship is purely biblical.
Yes.
And is a system that God has set forth for us. Through divine ideas, we can create solutions. And through those solutions, we can draw wealth back into the kingdom as Christians. So now you need to understand. Now with that mindset, you have to stop fighting entrepreneurship and change your mindset from employment to start accepting the idea of entrepreneurship as one of the ways. Employment is also a way.
Yes, it's one of the streams.
It's one of the streams because it's a steward stream.
True.
But also entrepreneurship is another stream. So you can engage in this one or both of them. You can be employed and still be an entrepreneur.
True.
Yes. So now when it comes to entrepreneurship, there is a mind that you need. Because an entrepreneur, we have said, is not a businessman, is not an employee.
And it's not easy.
And it's not easy.
It's not easy.
So some of the things that do not make entrepreneurs, let me drop them here before we go to the ones that make entrepreneurs. Capital is not what defines an entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur will even start without money.
Most of the times they start without money.
Yes.
Because entrepreneurship is about creating value, coming up with a solution. So you don't start with money.
Because they may be coming up with something They are creating something that was not there before.
Before, yes. So even how to predict how much money you need is not even a possibility. It's not even a possibility. So capital, weka kando. It is important. I'm not doing away with it, but I mean, it is not how much savings you have that makes you an entrepreneur. Just because you have 5 million doesn't mean you qualify to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you can be an investor. Maybe you can be a businessman. And maybe I can define the word investor. An investor is someone who finds the right vehicles where he can put his money and earn something.
He wants his money to grow. To grow,
yes. So see ati anafanya any new innovations or something. And find government bonds, they buy, and they make a profit out of that. Find a money market fund, that is an investor.
Put it in there and make money.
Yes. And
so he's simply out to make money. Anyway, all business people are out.
They all make money, but this one, he takes the lowest of the risks. Compared, if you take an entrepreneur, a businessman, and an investor takes the lowest risk. A businessman takes a higher risk, but entrepreneur takes it all.
He takes the greatest
level of risk.
It's either it works or fails.
Yes. The other thing that is not part of entrepreneurship is time. Hii mambo ya kusemanga I work 8 to 5.
Yes.
My friend, that is nowhere in entrepreneurship books. It is nowhere in entrepreneurship books.
He might work until the morning. Or he might just work for an hour.
They might work 24 hours, 22 hours, 18 hours, 2 hours. There is no time limit because entrepreneurship demands. It's very demanding. The other thing that is not part of entrepreneurship is big offices and Porsche cars and all that. That is really not part of it. It can be an outcome of it. But really it's not about
part of it.
It's not about it.
So he's not focused on spending on self.
No. He's focused on spending on solution. And so long as he can come up with a solution, even if he's in the village, people will find him because he has the solutions that people need. There's this thing I've seen in Eldoret, wanaita the one for steaming, sauna. I know you have seen it on TV once or twice. Imagine people moving from outside this nation to go and enjoy that sauna. That's what we call entrepreneurship. Yes, people will come where you are. Just have the solution.
To enjoy the sauna,
nasikia inachemshwa na herbs stuff, and we are not advertising for them, but that's the kind of entrepreneurship we are talking about. So now, what is the mind behind an entrepreneur?
What is that mindset?
Number one, problem before product.
Problem before product.
Yes.
Like
they sort out a problem instead of focusing on
coming up with a product.
Yes. The product might be an outcome
of the problem,
of solving the problem. But in their mind, they don't go in with the mindset of which product do I make? No. The way they operate as an entrepreneur, you think, which problem am I solving?
Because after all is said and done, you're solving a problem.
Yes. But a businessman thinks of which product can we sell. And that's the whole difference.
The businessman he thinks of the product to be sold.
Yes.
The entrepreneur thinks about the problem that is being solved.
That has to be solved. Okay. So if you meet a doctor who is entrepreneur, they are going to deal with your sickness. A doctor who is business-minded, they are going to give you a bunch of medicine and solutions. Whatever is available. Uko na homa, unahitaji hii, na malaria ongeza hii, na hii ingine ongeza hii, na hii ingine ongeza hii. That's just a plain example. The next thing with entrepreneurs is that they focus on cash.
They focus on cash. Explain that, please.
Than profit.
Explain that.
Cash in entrepreneurship is king.
Cash is king.
Yes, because you need cash to survive, even if you are not making profit.
It's for lack of a better word, it's like seed capital.
Yes. So they focus on, even if they are not making profit, they just want to have the cash to give them the liberty to operate.
Meaning if an opportunity to sow comes,
yes,
I have my seeds
somewhere where I can put it. So that is the mindset. But every other person, they focus on the profit first.
True.
From
True.
day one, they focus on profit,
True.
which is now, that is why so many businesses die. But guys in entrepreneurship, they know we just need cash.
Yes.
So long as we are selling to Fred, even if we are not making profit, so long as we are, whatever solution he keeps on buying, then it means we can keep on solving the problems, paying
yes.
the bills here and there,
Yeah.
until a time where now we can break
Tell
even.
them we are an entrepreneur.
Yes. Yeah, that's the mindset. Then the other thing that comes with entrepreneurs is that their focus is on the end game.
So the first one,
Problem, not product.
They focus on the problem, not the product.
Yes.
Then the second one,
Yes. They focus, what do we call this? Cash.
they focus on
cash first,
Yes.
not profit later.
Yeah.
They would rather operate on cash. Like Elon Musk, he got so much money in the beginning from investors,
Yes.
which he did not use. He got the cash to build the companies and put all the infrastructure together.
Yes.
He just recently started becoming profitable. Even Amazon, it was 13 years without ever making a profit.
13 years.
13 years. Uber took 7 years before making a profit. Facebook took 12 years before making a profit.
Well, that's huge.
So these guys, what they focus on the cash. So long as we have the cash to operate, let us just survive. Survive, perfect the solution until the solution can now start bringing in money.
For you.
Yes. The other thing that is with entrepreneurs, they have faith. Let me tell you.
They have faith. They believe in that idea. They are willing to die for it.
Entrepreneurship is one of the biggest tests of faith. And this is the example I give people when I'm talking to you. Imagine Fred has decided to open a hotel. Saa 9 usiku Fred anaenda mahali penye alirent jana.
Yes.
Ameshatengeneza meza, he has put all the seats, ameweka kitchen, ameenda shopping, amebuy all the things. Saa 10 wanapika chapati. And nobody told them that they're coming to it. Saa 11 wanachemsha chai.
Yes.
You know they are doing all the eggs, they are boiling.
They believe that at a particular
6,
time,
when they open the doors,
the guys will come to it.
somehow Gabriel will slide into that new hotel. Imagine that kind of faith.
Yes.
Imagine that kind of faith.
True.
So it is purely operated on. You have to believe.
If you don't have faith in what you're doing, you're not
Please,
going to cut it.
don't try entrepreneurship. Go and do employment. This thing takes leaps of faith and huge leaps of faith. Yeah, you have to believe in that idea. Then an entrepreneur, they are very flexible.
If it's not working,
They are quick to change the strategy. They believe in the thing and they are willing to go as far as possible.
Yes.
But at the same time, they are not stuck with the original idea that they came in with.
it's
So long as it gets us to the solution, it keeps on changing.
so they're just interested in the solution.
And that's what
this
I've
thing is going to sort out this thing.
They focus on the end game.
Yes.
Hapa
It doesn't
katikati,
matter.
we
It doesn't
can-
matter whether we will change things here.
The strategy.
As long as we get to.
We are good. We are good to go. And that is why
Yes.
most people,
Yeah.
most entrepreneurs don't use a business plan because it never works.
And then in school you're told you
Those
have
things,
to have.
Those things are good in
Yes.
school on paper.
Yes.
But on ground, it doesn't work like that.
You come with it, and when you start moving,
A
what you
business
had-
plan works for a businessman,
Yes.
not for an
A
entrepreneur.
business plan works for a businessman.
Yes,
Not
because
to
him
take-
is just dealing with products. So tunaweza sema if our consumption is 10 products, then we can project them to be 20 if we move to another town and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
But now for an entrepreneur, it's a dynamic world. You keep on moving with the waves.
It's a swing sword.
It's a swing sword. Anyhow it goes is how you go. So, and then the last thing, there's a heart of resilience.
The never giving up spirit.
Not with entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Not with entrepreneurs.
Hata kama ametengeneza and nobody bought, he doesn't
I
care.
listened to our very own, one of the best entrepreneurs in our country, this Jamawa, Optiven. It's called George Washuri.
George Washuri.
And he says that before he got Optiven, he had tried 15 businesses.
He had tried 15 other businesses.
Yes.
His
And before
business was quite
Optiven
alarming.
took off, he had lost twice. Over 5 million, twice. The same concept that we see today. He had
lost
failed
5
twice.
million. Twice.
Twice, yes. And
That's enough to send you packing.
it had sent him packing. If you read his story, he says he used to go and spend time at Uhuru Park with his Bible, his pen, and his God, trying to figure out how things will work.
What is happening?
Yes. And that's the resilience of an entrepreneur. That's how
the never giving up spirit.
Yes.
I've hit a wall, I'm not, but I won't give up.
Yes.
Because I know behind this wall
is what I need.
Yes.
So one way or the other, either I jump, I find a sledgehammer, I go around it, whatever it takes. Just know that we are coming.
I'm coming to the other side. I'll be there.
Yes. So they have that heart of resilience. One saying from a prominent entrepreneur says that survive. Do everything to survive before you throw in your towel. Do everything.
Just survive.
Just survive. Survive the season. Survive the first days. Survive what you need to survive, but survive.
Because the moment you beat whatever that thing was on that side,
yes,
you break through completely.
The other side is not what you imagined. So those are some of the secrets of entrepreneurs, and that's why so many businesses fail 3 years to 5 years of their inception.
Because number one,
people come with the employee mindset.
With the employee mindset.
Yes. The employee mindset says, go to work at 8, go home at 5.
Yes.
The employee mindset says, have a very nice looking office, a very good looking shop, have the best
that are not yours, by the way.
Have the best of employees, you know, go and be a boss there because that is what you are used to.
Yes.
But the entrepreneur's mindset says, go and get the work done.
Go out, you do it.
You go get it done.
Yes.
Yeah, that might mean cutting costs, not having an office.
Yes.
That might mean not having an employee, fixing your own tea, drinking it. That might mean working extra hours. That might mean going knocking doors, going finding credit.
Risking rejection and
risking
all
rejection,
that.
you know, calling customers 1,000 times and everything, you know. It means go just do it. So most people come in with the employee mindset. Never works for
whereby I
business.
can't sit, I do my stuff at the end of the month.
Ati check in akuja. You will be surprised. You do that, and then at the end of the month, it is your check that is now demanded to pay rent, to pay staff, to fuel your car, to feed your family, and stuff like that. Then the other group is the business. They come with the business mindset into entrepreneurship.
You're coming to sell goods and services.
Yes. Only to realize that there are other people who can compete better than you. You see, yeah, you are supplying cameras. Yes, you are supplying
There's somebody who can
at
do
50K.
That,
yes,
who can do that at 60-something thousand.
Yes, so they come, they have more capital, they have better distribution channel, they have better systems, so they come and beat you in your own game. And that's how most people get defeated.
And probably, could that be the reason why a number of supermarkets owned by Mwafrika have gone down?
Yes. Because you see, that mindset is a very wrong mindset. Even if you are in business, it is either you continue building muscle, hoping that no one overtakes you, or possessing business secrets that nobody else has.
When you say building yourself, it means going back to school to learn new skills.
Not necessarily school, because nowadays we have an open school.
Yes.
But learning never stops.
Yes.
Especially if you are an entrepreneur or a businessman, where you stop learning is where you'll be overtaken from. Learning should never stop. And that's one of the ways an entrepreneur makes it. Because for you to develop new things, new solutions, man, you have to read.
You read. I was reading about this guy in the States. The man he's not gone to school in terms of, you know, your normal academics and stuff.
Formal
He's not
education.
gone, formal education, which is so strange because if you look at most of the entrepreneurs,
they didn't finish college.
Yes.
Yeah, most of them.
As in, it looked as though there was something that was pushing him out of that system. When you look at the Virgin Islands guy, you look at Bill Gates,
yes,
as in Steve Jobs, a big group of them are men who dropped. So they got the formal education and they got some education in the direction they were going. But something just snapped at one point during the education. And they decided, too manual, let me go and do this thing.
The other characteristics of an entrepreneur is that they are possibility people.
They see possibilities in everything. They
see possibilities. So once the guy locks his head on this possibility, he can do away with everything else and just pursue this one. And just pursue this one.
Yes.
And okay, I think we are just wrongly, is it misinformed? Because we believe that education is only formal education.
Yeah, true.
Which is the biggest mistakes. If you observe a community like the Somali, most of them do not have formal education.
True.
The large number.
But they're now owning some of the biggest things in the country.
How comes? How comes? It's because they don't have the formal, but they do have an education system. And the education system says, when a child is young, teach them religion. I don't want to go into that detail.
Yes.
But they believe that religion is the foundation of a good person.
So they first deal with education,
the religion, so that they form a certain kind of a person. Then,
so they deal with the religion. Obviously, religion takes care of values.
Yeah, the value systems, the belief system, how people conduct themselves, behavior and character. So that level is set. From there, they teach them business education.
Okay.
Business education is they teach them where to buy products, where to sell, where the margins work, how to bank, how to talk with clients, how to do this. So a boy at 15, he's finishing his degree in business at 15.
Yes.
By the time he gets an ID card,
the
first investment he gets from his own parent.
So after that, he's taken through the system, trained,
alafu anawekewa investment. And that's how they thrive. So the idea of just thinking that school, and I'm not against school.
School is great.
School is great. It gives you a lot and puts you ahead in so many ways. But it's not the only education that you need. True. In my book, let me say this as we finish, self-discovery for self-recovery. I've talked about 5 educations that every human being needs to succeed. And the first one I've said is spiritual education.
Spiritual?
Education.
Education?
That is what gives you the value system.
The value system.
Yes.
True.
The next thing you need is academic education. Academics now helps you to read, to know how to read, write, research, and do all that.
Yes.
The other education you need is what we call marketplace education. Marketplace education is experience.
The experience that you have.
What they tell you, kwa CV, how many
years
they know you have a certificate.
Yes.
They know you have the academic.
Yes.
But they still cannot trust you enough.
Unless you've worked for 5 years.
Unless you've worked. So everyone needs experience, exposure, and experience. Then you need personal education. Personal education is the most important education because you need to know you.
If you don't know you, you can't deal with the rest.
The rest are impossible for you.
That's amazing.
Then finally, financial education. They don't teach us what we'll do with the money. They teach us how to get employed. They tell us when, Fred, once you finish this degree, you'll be employed in a bank. And they'll be paying you 100K.
Yes.
But they don't tell us, now after I have the 100K, what should I do with it? How does the 100K convert into wealth?
Yes.
How does it convert into a generational thing that I can hand over children? So we are not taught how to sometimes make the coin,
yes,
save it. We are not taught how to budget it. We are not taught how to invest it. So these are educations that you need to give yourself. And the government only gives us one.
Yes.
Academic. If you don't work on the rest,
yes,
mambo itaumana. Dunia itakufunza.
And dunia ikikufunza ikufunzi vizuri. Inakufunza na finyo sana.
Syllabus ni moto.
Okay. My director Alice is telling me my time is up. I really hope you've learned something. What you do, go to our socials, our Facebook and YouTube. Just rewind this and get to understand it. Because once you understand it, it gives you the boldness to be able to step out and do some things. We're not telling you to quit your job. Start doing it. Your job will tell you when to quit.
On the side, yes.
Yes. Start doing it. Your job will tell this thing, what may be your side hustle is going to tell you when to quit the formal employment. So, usitoroke alafu anze kusema, Fred and Gabriel told me to quit my job and now I'm taking them to court. No, don't do that. So please do this. Just watch the entire series that we've done with Gabriel. Very eye-opening. Very, very eye-opening. And if you do that, you will see the changes. So that I can appease Alice. Thank you very much. We got to bring the curtains down on the show. Thank you for listening to us. And may the Lord greatly bless you.